Ever been wondering what items you want in Hello Kitty Kruisers to ensure you finish in the first place? Today I'll rank the items from the bottom to the top and giving you some strategies on how to best use these items to ensure that you are ending up in the winning spot. Number 3 will surprise you. So stay tuned and we'll go through. On the bottom of the list, on the number 6 spot, we find the pie or the cupcake. I am not really sure what this is meant to be, if it's meant to be a pie or a cupcake. Is it a pie cake or a cup pie? I'm not sure, This is not the only item in this game, obviously, that is very weirdly modeled to look like something very different than it probably is meant to be. And I would say it's probably one of the least bad offenders of this. This item is meant to act as the green shell, but it does fail very badly at that, due to the fact it doesn't have some of the properties that makes the green shell a very viable weapon in Mario Kart series. The problem with this item, and we are going to use the Mario Kart analogy a lot in this list, because a lot of these items were just straight up inspired by Mario Kart items, by the way. But the problem is that this item doesn't have the two properties that makes the green shell very good, which is its ability to bounce off walls pretty well to create some very beautiful hits, but also that it can't really do physics well. It has very poor physics. You have to remember this with the green shell in Mario Kart. It has some smart bouncing going on. This item has no bouncing and it has very crazy physics. Very crazy physics! This means that this item is very bad for offensive capacities, because you are not going to hit someone unless your aim is very good. Unless you have the best aim in the world, you are not gonna hit someone. So basically what you're gonna use this item for most of the time is to hold it behind you to hope someone crashes into it. Or to prevent yourself from getting hit by a pie. Or to just clean out the road of the cones. But even for those purposes, there are way better items than this one, so this item has to be on the bottom of this list. On the number 5 spot of this list, we find a very surprising item, the shield. The shield is meant to act as the star, so how can this item be this low on the list? Well, this item most certainly isn't the star in this game's item roster, I can tell you that. On paper, this item is very good, because unlike the star, it doesn't last a certain amount of time, but until you get hit once or crash to someone once. In theory, meaning you can go entire laps without this item getting used. The problem? It only protects against 2 items. The cone and the pie. And we mentioned before, the pie is very terrible. You should never be hit by pies, really. Really, you should never be hit by pies. And protection against cones is gonna be a problem as well, as we are gonna get into a little bit higher up on the list. So what about course obstacles? Well, this item doesn't protect you against course obstacles. Thankfully, it does have the decency to not disappear if you hit on the course obstacle, and the worst offender of all, it doesn't protect you against the clocks. This is where this item could have really shined. If it protected you against the clocks, even if it disappeared afterwards, this item would have been worth its weight in gold. But as it is now, this item is pretty much useless. It only protects against 2 very poor items, one of which is you are not really gonna be bothered much about it, and the second one you are not going to want to be protected from most of the time, actually, as we're gonna come into later on in this list. This means this item sadly has to sit on the number 5 spot. The only reason why I really value it more than the pie is because its defensive capacities are way better, as you are protected from all 360 degrees with this item and can bounce into anyone from any point. Unlike the pie, which can only crash into someone from behind or very straight ahead of them. On number 4 spot of this list, we have a very much more surprising item, right, actually. We are gonna have the clock on this list positioning. I'm as surprised as you are. When I made this list, I sat long and thought about it. I was really thinking about how to position the 4th and the 1st place item, but the 3rd place item is just simply having more utility than the clock, so I'm very sorry. The clock has to go to 4th place. This item is meant to represent the lightning from the Mario Kart series, and it does a very good job at this actually, and from a user perspective this item is actually better than the lightning from Mario Kart. This item is treating everyone except for you equally. Everyone's gonna get slowed down for a very long period of time, so instead of putting you inside a bunch of people, you are going to be cruising ahead of everyone else. The problem with this item from a balancing perspective is that this leads to the rubber banding effect that item is meant to have not being put into effect. But from a user perspective, that actually makes this item way better than lightning from Mario Kart. So why is this item only on the 1st place? Well, there are some counters to this item, and we are going to go into that when we are entering the number 3 spot. On the number 3 spot we have probably the most surprising item in this entire list, which is gonna be the cones. The cones are meant to be like the banana shells from Mario Kart in this game, so how did they end up higher up than both of the star and the lightning? This is gonna be a very surprising position on this list, unless you are aware of a little thing we're gonna talk about right now. We're gonna talk about how this game handles speed a little bit. When you are hit by an obstacle, it doesn't set you on a certain amount of speed, it's actually setting you on a certain percentage of the current speed. So you are going to gain some speed at some points if you are crashing into an item while you are at a certain stage of a boost. Which means that by doing this, you can maintain speed boosts way longer than normal and maintain some extra speed. This can be used for very powerful effects. But it's also very dangerous. But from a speedrunning perspective, and I would also say from a casual playing perspective, this is a very powerful utility of this item. But this is not why this item is so good. The real reason why I value this item so highly is because it can be used to negate the effect of clocks. You heard it right, you can use this effect in a similar way to what we did before to negate a lot of the bad stuff from a clock, and that is a very powerful feature of this item in combination with the previous one. In addition to this, it's also a very good defensive item for other purposes as well. This simply means that I can't put this item any lower than on 3rd place, because this is probably one of the best items, because you get free uses of it when you get it. Very easily better than the previous 3 items. But we're reaching up to the top now, and the top 2 items are not gonna be surprising at all. But let us roll it out. On the number 2 spot of this list, we have the rainbow. Very not surprising at all. The rainbow is meant to be used as a bullet bill from the Mario Kart series, but it is a way weaker version than the bullet bill from Mario Kart. Unlike that item, it's not gonna really harm people you crash into. And in addition to this, the routing in this game can sometimes be questionable. I don't have any recorded footage right now of it happening, but this item is able to get stuck in a situation where it can basically put you around in a circle for the entire duration of it, basically lose you time instead of gaining you time. It's a very rare event it happens though, but even without that, the combination of the little speed boost it gives you and the poor routing means that it doesn't save you a lot of time to use it compared to the number 1 item. So we're gonna have to roll it out for the number 1 contendant, and this one is not gonna surprise anyone at all. Let's roll out the number 1. On the number 1 spot of the list we see a very unsurprising item, the triple boost. The triple boost in this game works just like the mushrooms from Mario Kart series. You use them, you get a boost, you get free charges, and it's all good. What more could you ask for? Well everyone, I am going to explain a very powerful glitch in this game right now that mostly affects this item. It affects this one item and it affects the rainbows to a certain degree. It affects every item really, but these are the 2 items you are going to want to use this glitch to obtain. There is a glitch in this game that is called, named by me, item cloning. What you are doing with this glitch is that you make it so that, or rather you don't make it, the game make it so you get the same item you had before from the next item box you get. This means you can chain powerful items into one another while in first place, despite it normally being impossible to get these items in the first place. I don't even need to point out to you how ridiculously powerful of a glitch this is. I will see some footage for the rest of my talk here of some footage of the crazy stuff this can result in. While this glitch is ridiculously powerful, it is also ridiculously unstable. There is currently very little knowledge about how it works, and there is very few things that can be done to guarantee that it happens, if any. The only thing to remember though is that it can only happen with the item you had from the next item box you get. For example, if you have a pie, this glitch can give you a pie. If you have a cone, the glitch can give you a cone. If you have a rainbow, the glitch can give you a rainbow. If you have a triple boost, it can give you a triple boost. This glitch is very common, but it's very rarely seen in actual gameplay, because most of the time when you see it, you are going to be getting some boring items like heals and cones and things like that. So from a normal player perspective, it just looks like you are more likely to get the same item you had before, but this is actually very likely due to a glitch. Because by doing this, you can get items you normally are unable to get by any means. What did you think about the list, everyone? Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and feel free to tell me if you thought I was all wrong all over the place and judged some items unfairly, or if you agree with me, feel free to say so too. It always warms my heart to hear that people agree with me. Also feel free to leave a little thumbs up in the bar down below, and press on the subscription button for more content like this and other speedrunning related content as well. And have a good one while you are cruising across Hello Kitty Kruisers with new knowledge.